Hey everyone, I'm Sarah with Fisher Price Ranch. First off, please don't forget to subscribe. So today I was going to give you guys a quick update on all the goats, and I thought I would talk to you a little bit about the kids, what we're watching for as they grow, certain reasons why we're keeping specific ones, genetics, and also adding dairy into the Kikos. We just filled all their feeders. We were low on hay. We had to go get a load. So everybody's at the feeders right now. We're out there basking in the sun. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about is why we keep the specific goats that we are keeping. So like last year, well I guess the year before I should say, this is one of our girls that we retained. That's Divinity. And then we kept, same year we kept Dippin' Dots here in the middle. And those were the only two that we kept out of our kid crop from 2 years ago. Last year we kept 3 girls, or I'm sorry, we did keep 3 the 2 years ago. I forgot about Truffles there. She's the one hiding right there. And then this past season we kept 3 does, and they're all out there in the sunshine. You can see Snickerdoodle, Savannah, and Peppermint. So we tend to keep a few does every year, and then also we kept Bazooka. But this year, we're probably going to keep extra. So I've been looking at all 13 of our kids, and I'll kind of go over with you specific reasons why we'll be keeping these goats, and also looking at their quality. So to start off, this little girl, she's actually our smallest goat out of all 13. This is Myrtle. Now the reason that we're keeping her is because she is half alpine. Alright, so the reason that we're adding alpine into our herd is because if you look at a lot of the Kikos, their udder attachment is very poor. And when they have that bad udder attachment, they're not going to be able to nurse kids as long as a goat that has a better udder attachment. Because then the udder will start to sag, and the babies are unable to nurse on those udders. So we added some registered quality alpines into our herd, just 2 of them, and we plan to retain the doelings out of those and breed back into the Kiko. And our reason for that is so that we can fix the udder attachment on our future goats. Also, the more milk that a Kiko will produce, the faster the kids will grow, and it just makes them a lot healthier. They grow better, which is what everybody wants. Everybody wants a fast-growing Kiko. So having those good mothers with lots of high butter fat in their milk, high amounts of milk, the kids will definitely grow a lot faster. So that's the reason that we're going to retain any girls that we get out of our alpines, just so we can continue on those better genetics for the udders. So the only thing that we don't like about the alpines is they tend to be on the thinner side. They're more long-legged, and when they are nursing, you can see they look quite skinny. That's typical for a dairy goat, and I don't really like that. So adding in the Kiko will put more meat on their bones. I know that our future generations will not produce as much milk as a purebred alpine, but if we can add just a little bit better quality udder and the extra milk, they'll just be a lot better. If you can compare these two, you can see a dairy goat versus a meat goat and how much more meat is on their bones. Alright, so here is real quick one exception. This is a 100% New Zealand Kiko, and as you can see, she has a massive udder. That is her son right there. He is all legs. I don't know where he got that from. But you can see her udder attachment is not bad at all. You can see, you can't really see the sides of her udder or the top of the udder on the sides of her legs, which shows that she has a pretty good attachment. And that's what we're looking for. So here is another 100% New Zealand Kiko, and she doesn't have a full udder yet. But as you can see, her attachment isn't as good. You can see all the way the udder all the way up here, showing that her attachment isn't very good. You want the attachment more wide, almost onto the legs, so it holds the udder better. And that's typically what the alpines have. Here's another good example of an udder on a Kiko. As you can see, her udder attachment is very good, and she has a pretty good size udder. We actually do milk her. And to give you one more example of a bad udder attachment, this is on a purebred Kiko in milk with a baby on her. You can see she doesn't have a huge udder, but if she steps sideways, you can see how it just kind of flies around. There's not a good udder attachment on there. You can see how it's only attached right there, and that's a poor udder attachment. So we're just trying to fix the udders in our Kikos, and the only way to do that is to breed better baby goats. And then once they're older, they have their own kids, you can select from them. You have to compare their udders to their mothers. So the attachment of a buck scrotum is the same ligament attachment as a doe's udder. So if you have a buck that has a scrotum attachment where the nuts actually hang real low, and then there's a lot of skin between the nutsack and where it's attached, that is a poor attachment. So you would not want to breed that kind of attachment into a doe that already has a poor attachment, because it's only going to make it worse. So you want to breed a good tight scrotum that's hanging, not even hanging, it seems like it's up in between the legs and you can't see it that well. That's going to be a better udder attachment for your does. So to fix that, you're going to want to breed those good scrotum attachments to your poor udder attachments, and then it will slowly start fixing it down the line with your kids. Alright, so looking at our current doe situation, so like Trinidad she has the worst udder attachment of all my girls, but her size is why I like her. She throws huge kids, and she's about 156 pounds herself. So she will stay here because she's going to throw me larger kids, and that's more for meat production. And breeding her to a better attachment on the buck will help with her daughters to have better attachments down the line. So I'm looking at some of my other girls, and as you can see, Mama has a pretty good attachment and a decent size udder. So we like to see her daughters, like this first freshener, has a really nice attachment and a decent udder for a first freshener. So she does definitely throw good udders on her kids. So this is her daughter from this year, and Wrecker is the sire, and he has a really good scrotum attachment. So we know that she should have a pretty good udder attachment. And because Mama throws really nice kids, she always has, we typically try and keep a daughter out of her from each breeding. So Lily will definitely probably be staying here. Also looking at her, she's real nice and thick in her body. She's real thick, as you can see. Nice solid body all the way down. So that's one thing that we look for in the kids, is you want a really good solid body. You don't want to have like a big chest and then a skinny hip area. Bonnie, you guys always hear me talk about her. She is my favorite goat as far as the looks of her. She always gets a decent size udder. She has a pretty good attachment, and she throws amazing kids. Now Divinity is her daughter from 2 years ago, and she is currently pregnant. She will be due not until the end of March, so it'll be her first time. So we'll see how her udder looks. But her quality is really nice. She's a real thick doe, and that's what we like to see out of Bonnie. Now Bonnie always seems to throw those really nice thick kids. So her daughter is actually hiding underneath the feeder there from last year. She's a real nice thick doe out of triplets, and so we just seem to keep a doe out of Bonnie also every year. So obviously we're going to be keeping one from her this year, and so this is her daughter. And these are also one of our last set of kids out of Rocky Road. And Rocky Road, we always love his kids. So this little doe here will most likely be staying. And she's got pretty good quality, real nice and thick in the body, like we like, as you can see. She would quit moving. So we're going to be keeping an eye on her as one that we'll be watching for possible retaining. So here's another one. She's a purebred. You can see she has a decent udder. Pretty good size. Her attachment isn't the best, but it's not too bad. And she gave me a wrecker son, and this is her daughter from last year, Peppermint. You guys know Peppermint. She's a chocolate, and she's real nice and thick out of Rocky Road. And we really like the chocolate. This is actually my first chocolate goat right here. Good thing is she's really nice quality, in my opinion. Real thick doe, nice and stocky, big chest on her. And so we know that Sabrina throws nice kids. And so even though we really don't need another buck, we are keeping an eye on Hawthorne here. He is also chocolate, and it's out of a wrecker bloodline again, and he has dapple spots. So he's more of a pretty goat, but he should be really nice quality. He's growing very fast. So we are keeping an eye on him as well. This is one of Bonnie's sons. He's real nice quality. I don't know, because we're probably keeping his sister. We probably won't be keeping him. There's his sister. She's so cute. What are you doing? Here's a bunch of kids over here. So some of the stuff that we look for in our goats, like I said before, is the stockiness of the body. We like to see them really well-rounded. You don't want to have, like I said, skinny hips on a doe. You want a nice wide-set doe on the hips. Long bodies are really nice because they seem to be able to carry more kids that way. And if you look at Daphne here, she's got a pretty nice long body. But one of the things that we like also about her is she's out of Capers, and Capers has that really nice udder. So we're going to be watching her. These two girls are out of Truffles, which is out of Mama. They're really nice quality also, out of Buddy, which is our big, thick buck. Obviously, we can't keep them all. So these two girls I'm not really keeping a close eye on them. They're just, I have a lot of those genetics already, so they're probably ones that will be leaving. Lily's one that we're looking at, so Oren, her brother, will probably be available. And then same with Daphne is one that we're watching, and her brother Alder, who's a beast, he will probably be available as well. Here's one more of our boys, and he is a real big boy. I think he was our largest born at 9.5 pounds, and he is just thick all over. Very, very well built. He's out of Buddy in Trinidad, so I believe he will be a nice meat maker. So he's a real nice one. It's hard not to want to keep some of these boys as well, but I think since we're watching Hawthorne pretty well, I think Sherman will probably end up being available. So we aren't going to be picking officially what goats will be available until they hit 3 months old, because we're going to watch their performance on how well they're growing. So we watch their average daily gain. We'll be weighing them at 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. So right now we just get to enjoy all of them. Alright, you guys, well, I hope this video was helpful. Kind of explains a little bit about what we're doing with our future herd. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.